Creating a mini meditation practice will give you so many health benefits and mental, emotional benefits over time. But the thing is, there's so many different ways to meditate. Where do you start? Or if you've tried it and you didn't like it, maybe there's a different way to do it. So I wanted to share with you a little bit today about different ways to create a meditation practice as part of your lifestyle medicine practice. So, I mean, what you eat, what supplements do you take? How do you exercise? Your sleep patterns, all those things are important. But number one in my book is learning how to connect to your deeper consciousness, because that seems to feed all the others. Now, if that's been difficult for you, don't worry. It is difficult for a lot of people, especially if you've experienced some sort of trauma or you already have a lot of anxiety or depression. Oh, I'm going to sit still and quiet my mind. Yeah, right. It doesn't always look like that. It doesn't have to. So what I said in the New Health Manifesto, the secrets to activating your fountain of youth, of these 10 secrets, this is number one. And as I stayed in there, it says it doesn't have to be tied to a religion. It doesn't have to be a super long duration. And it doesn't have to be just sitting still and not thinking. So let me share with you some different ways. A lot of the great spiritual leaders in the world got together and they decided that there was so much baggage when it came to religion and meditation, and they wanted to bring it into the school systems, making it part of, like we learn physical fitness in school. Why not learn what we would call sort of mental hygiene in school? And they came up with the term mindfulness and mental hygiene. So if you are connected to some sort of spiritual practice that you enjoy that does have meditation in it, by all means, that's great to tap into, even more powerful because if it's in your traditional roots. But even if you would like to try something different, you can do by integrating your breath into some sort of kind of a stop for a moment and breathe. And I mean, it seems so simple. Why would it even elude us? But it can, because you can get into the merry-go-round, whether it's blood sugar or it's the screen input, all the things that can influence us and our ups and downs of our energy. Sometimes getting off the merry-go-round just for a moment is enough to re-anchor you into your center, right? Where your center pole lives, that can connect you to the greater vitality that is everywhere present. And ultimately, that's the goal, quote unquote. Now, what I did want to share with you is that we look out for words like goals and expectations when it comes to meditation, because it's just a practice. And the practice some days is easy and some days it's not. Some days you just like, I just still don't feel centered. But it doesn't mean that it wasn't a success. Just showing up for yourself into that center pole moment is enough. So starting with just a short period of time, maybe 3 breaths in consciousness, is a great way to begin a meditation practice and to anchor it to a time in the day that you remember. So like for me, it's sort of in my morning, how it goes with my morning. It fits right in there. And in the evening, I like to recenter myself. But even throughout the day, sometimes when I'm standing in line, if I'm at a store and I'm checking out and I'm just standing there, that's a trigger for me to say, oh, let me connect to my center pole for the moment while I'm waiting in queue, and great use of my time. So the other thing is to remember that if this sort of sitting still and being quiet is uncomfortable, as I said, if you've had some post-traumatic stress, which I have, and at one point I wasn't able to do that. It actually, sitting still in the quiet, my heart would beat faster and it would kind of upset my stomach. Now that's no problem. But when it was, what I was introduced to was moving meditation. So you can do a walking meditation, or you can do a practice of energy cultivation like Qigong or Tai Chi, or even some very easygoing yoga that's done very slowly and mindfully. This allows you to direct your thoughts into the movements of your body. And this magic moment happens where you are not necessarily thinking about the future or the past. You are here now. And that is connecting with your consciousness, being in that moment of now. And as that expands and expands, it really starts to fuel you on a lot of levels. So the third suggestion that I would have for you is, first we said the sitting and breathing, or, with trying to do it with some decent posture, but as long as it's connected to the breath, even if it's for a short time or a long time. Number two would be moving, connecting to the breath and directing the mind into the body so that you can perform mindful movements that allow you to be in the moment. And thirdly is to use some sort of contemplation into your meditation. So you can, this is where having a mantra or a chant can come into play, repeating a phrase, or you can read some uplifting literature and you read it aloud even. That's wonderful to really calm your nerves. Read it and then just think about it. Like, it allows you to have a focal point for your thoughts. Because one of the worst things to do in your mini meditation practice is to sit there and scold yourself about thinking. That's not necessarily what we're trying to achieve. So even if, no matter what of these three suggestions that you do, if a thought comes through, or like, oh, I need to change the cat litter, or something just pops in, just let it float by and allow yourself to be very kind. And at the bottom of this suggestion in the New Health Manifesto of creating a mini meditation practice for yourself as part of your whole lifestyle medicine, I say, remember that expectations are the death of meditation. There's nothing worse than going in saying, I will connect to now. So release your force, release your expectation of what it's going to be that day and that moment. And then also releasing the larger expectations of future and past, which allow you to come gently into the moment, because it is about receiving the moment. And with that comes grace infused into that time. And that builds your wellness like nothing else. And then the last thing that I said about meditation is to be kind. Remember yourself, that this is about bringing your energy that's all out here and everywhere and bringing it into the center. So I invite you to, however that looks, whether it's 5 minutes or even 3 breaths after you brush your teeth, tag it to something you're already doing so that it becomes a routine, and allow yourself to be very gentle and spacious about it. I'd love to hear how it's going for you, and I wish you well on your adventures in meditation.